Hello and welcome to a quick unboxing and review of the SP Racing F3 flight controller Acro version from YoungRC. We can see this is the box it came in. It's an F3 Acro flight controller. We're going to open the seal on here and take a quick look at what's all included in the box. We can see that the flight controller and all of the cables are packed in a static bag, and we also have a card from YoungRC for any kind of help questions you have. I'll set the box aside for now, and we will take a look at what is inside this bag. Alright, so now that I'm back with a pair of scissors, being careful not to cut any of the cables. Here we go. Let's see what we have. We have a clean flight protection, plastic protection case. We have the board itself. We'll get to that in just a moment, as well as a large bundle of cables. We've seen some of these SP-F3s before, and they do generally come with this assortment of cables, which is really nice. In fact, there's so many cables, you kind of have to guess at which one's the right. You have to really look at them to see which one's the right one. But the good news is you have everything here to connect to your receiver and any other peripherals you want to connect to your UARTs, such as LEDs, telemetry, you name it. So that's really nice that it's included, and you have a variety here of header pins. We have some curved pins, some straight pins, and some single line pins. So basically this board comes like it does so that you can configure it however you want to. So right now we are looking at the top of the board, and from the top of the board, we'll quickly here review the layout of the board. So we could see on the board it does have nice silk screening. It tells you, I kind of have it upside down. I'm going to turn it so that the arrow, you see the arrow here, that's the directional arrow. When you install it into your quad, you can kind of see that arrow would be the front of the board. So all of the motor pins. So here, this can support up to 8 different motors. So you could actually do an octocopter, I suppose. But in general, most people are going to use 4 or 6 for a quad or a hex. You have your boot pins here. It's really nice silk screen because you can see you got an S there for signal, power, and ground. So we're not left guessing. The micro port, UART2. Here we actually have pins for UART1, or if you flip it over, we also have a port for UART1. So that's really nice that you have the option of pins, or a port or pins for UART1. We also have a software debugging port, SWD debugging. This is the IO1 port. Depending on what you're connecting, you may use this side for PPM, also your LEDs. You have your IO2, which could be things like sonar or a current sensor or RSSI sensors. Down here you have a port for a buzzer. So if you want to connect a buzzer, you can do that right here. And on this side you have a port for VBAT. So all of these SP-F3 boards are just a little different. Sometimes you have ports, sometimes you have pins that you can connect, so it just depends on who makes it. It does have an STM32 F3 processor. And I know I'm kind of late to the game on reviewing these because the F3 processors have been around for a little while, but on the bottom we can kind of see here, we mentioned before there's a UART1, there's an I2C port. Sometimes that's for connecting your GPS devices and so on. And then of course you have access for the pins on the bottom as well, or pins for buzzer and also VBAT. You can also see here, if this were the deluxe version, about right in here you would have a barometer, but this is the Acro version, made mainly for racing and Acro purposes. That's pretty much it for this. There is also, you can mention here, there's the gyro on top, the MPU 6050 gyro, MEMS gyro. But all in all, it's got a nice feature set. It has 1, 2, 3 UARTs as well as some I/O pins besides that, and up to 8 ESC connectors. So very nice feature set on this. We're going to very quickly connect it to a BEC and just check it out here. So we'll do that and be right back. Alright, we'll just do a real quick connection here just to kind of see the board boot up. So again, on the left side of the board here I have my IO1, and if you were connecting, say, a PPM receiver, that's the side you would use. Most of these SP F3 boards have really good documentation on the internet because of their popularity, and there are quite a few pinouts. Those are very helpful when putting these together. So first thing we'll do is we will connect our, I think that's an 8-pin connector, and you'll see from the top here, this would be your PPM. The white would actually be your PPM signal. And what I'm going to do is plug it into a receiver just for the purpose of getting the power through that receiver. And then once we give the receiver some power, we'll see the board booting up. Now if we were connected to a clean flight, or a lot of people now are using beta flight, you could see that we could actually connect this through the micro USB and flash the firmware and so on. So altogether a very nice product from YoungRC. Just to recap, like that, we have the entire gamut of cable cable connectors, wire connectors, as well as for those of you who kind of go for more of the camera rig, you can connect your case, and then also the header pins, as well as a very nice capable flight controller. So that's it for this video.